My name is Farah Lipetz. I'm at the University of Michigan and I'm on the women's gymnastics team. I had an early coach when I was about, I want to say 10 years old, 10 to maybe 15 years old. His name was Randy. He unfortunately passed away, but he coached me throughout my harsh training years, and he was always very positive. He had a great outlook on life, and he always just reminded me to put a smile on my face when I'm training. And even on the bad days, just kind of putting that smile on your face would help make the bad days better. And I think that positive outlook on life that he had really altered the way I thought about things and really helped me compete to the best of my abilities, even if I wasn't having a good competition. And then along with that, my dad helped me a lot as a mentor along the way, kind of just told me to achieve my dreams and just whatever I wanted, I could achieve as long as I just put in hard work and effort and prioritized myself. And I think he's been doing that to this day since I've been really young, and I really owe it all to him, and I owe it all to my parents as well. So I think focusing on nutrition and rehabbing your body are probably the best advantages I could give myself, because I can train really hard in the gym and so could everyone else. But if you're not prioritizing your body and your health outside of practice, then it's not going to come to fruition during the competition. So I think if I have a really great diet and if I keep my nutrition up to par and if I'm prioritizing my body and my injuries, that really helps me. Seeing my trainer is great because communicating with her just helps me get my injuries ratified and just helps me be the best I could be. So, yeah, so I've had a few injuries in my past. I fractured my back, I've fractured both of my heels, and I blew out my knee. So I think those challenges really helped me fight through adversity and really helped me keep pushing. And I think if I didn't keep pushing, then I wouldn't have that fight in me and it wouldn't bring it over to the competition field. So I think those challenges really shaped who I am as an athlete and as a person. And if you just keep pushing and keep wanting to achieve that goal, then that's going to help you in the long run. So I think those were the biggest challenges I've had to face. Yeah, so I was recruited at a very young age. I committed to Michigan when I was 13 years old, actually. So it was right my freshman year of high school, which is a little different now because the rules have changed. But I would come on visits and I would do a lot of phone calls. The rules were a little different, so I'd be able to just communicate through phone calls more than in person and on trips since I was so young. But I tried to be very personable and I tried to make meaningful connections with the coaches over the phone, because I think if you're personable and if you're confident in yourself, then that helps you get into great relationships with certain coaches. And I think just making those connections is really important in just being recruited as a whole. I think also asking all the questions that you have is so important, because no one is here not to help you. So I think they want to help you, and I think as long as you communicate with coaches, and I think that as long as you reach out and put yourself out there, that's the most important thing you can do, because if not, you're not really going to get what you want. So I think reaching out to anyone and everyone is what you should do, and I think that's what I did, and I think that helped me get to my ultimate dream school, which was Michigan. So I think colleges, as long as you're competing, I think they look for attitude, and I think they look for the determination that you have. I don't think they look for something that needs to be perfect. I think they look for you as a person as well as you in your athletic abilities. And I think if you have a great attitude and if you're confident in yourself, that's going to bring a great attitude and great environment onto the team that you're going to be on. So I think they recruit you more as a person than more as an athlete. And I think that as long as you're succeeding in your sport, but you're keeping your attitude high and you're being positive and you're bringing great energy, they're going to recruit you and they're going to see you more as an athlete and just more as a person that they want on their team. I have so many reasons why Michigan, but I guess the balance between academics and athletics are so amazing that no other school really has such amazing academics and such amazing athletics that are just both on the same field. I think that some schools have better athletics and then the academics don't really matter as much. But when you go to Michigan and you're graduating with a Michigan degree, everyone's going to want you, opposed to other schools, because it's just the best of both worlds in the end. And along with this, I think that the Michigan pride is so amazing. I think anywhere you go, you can be in another country. Like, for example, I was in Greece the other summer and I had a Michigan shirt on, and two people in one day in Greece said "Go Blue" to me. And I just think the network is amazing here and the alumni are so willing to help. And I just think that the pride here is more prideful than any other school that I've seen and that I've visited also. And I just think that's amazing as a whole. So I always say to take yourself out of your sport and see where you fit in most. I think that if you just put yourself in a situation where your sport isn't your identity for a second, and put yourself in a school where you think you'll succeed, not only athletically, but also academically and socially and culturally. I think that is probably the biggest advice I can get. Just try to put yourself in every university you're trying to choose, and wherever you see yourself most succeed, I think that ultimately is where you're going to pick. And along with that, I feel like I always know when to go with my gut, and whatever your gut is telling you, I think that's great advice. I think you just need to go with your gut, and you know where you want to go and you know where you want to end up, and wherever it's going to lead you is where you're going to end up to be, and everything happens for a reason. So if you just go with your gut and just do what you want, I mean, it's going to follow you. So something big my freshman year was comparing myself to others when I was performing. And I looked at my upperclassmen and I looked at the people more experienced than I was, and I was seeing them succeed maybe how I wanted to succeed when I wasn't performing to the best of my abilities. And I think if you compare yourself to others, it's going to bring you down. So if you just run your own race and you stay on track to what you want to do, that's going to ultimately lead you to success. And I think if you just prioritize yourself and not look ahead and just stay in every moment and just not compare yourself honestly to anyone, I think that'll really help you to succeed. Along with that, I wanted to talk about knowing that everything happens for a reason. So if you make a mistake along the way, if you get injured along the way, everything does happen and will happen for a reason. If you know what that reason is, great. If not, it's okay, but everything does happen for that reason. So I think that knowing that, not to compare yourself to others, and knowing that everything is going to happen for a reason will help. And I think that is advice that I would give people coming into college and competing. As athletes, we have such great time management skills to begin with. And I think that overall, I look at my whole week before the week starts, and I spread out time that I know I'll need for academics and I know I need for athletics. And I don't like to overlap the two. I like to focus on one thing and then the next thing. So I think making a planner, I do it every week. And I think planning out my weeks and planning out my hours and days to a T is what really helps me, because it makes me follow a schedule, just like athletes like a routine. So if you're following a schedule, you're going to have that time management and you're going to be able to balance your academics and athletics to the best of your abilities. Since I've gotten here, I've really focused on being present and staying in the moment. And I think everything as a student athlete gets very overwhelming, especially in the recruiting process, in the competition field, and in the classroom. So I think everything can get very overwhelming. If you take everything day by day, second by second, hour by hour, I think that really helps you achieve your goals. And I think looking forward isn't going to help you succeed. I think just trying to do everything you need to do in that moment for yourself will help you. Looking back in high school, I always thought that if I made a mistake being recruited, that I wouldn't end up here, but it really wasn't that. It's just the picture as a whole, and you can't look at one mistake and just think that that's going to affect your future, because you really don't know and you can't really control the controllables. So I like to say that as well. But if you're just staying in the present and you're able to control what you can control, I think that's something that I would tell myself, and just to not worry that much. I mean, not it's not that deep in the end of the day. So